Introducing the Paddy Power World Darts Championships.
Welcome back to Online Darts, everyone. We've got Joe Cullen in the house, the Rockstar. Joe, build up to the World Championships. You excited? Now it's on the horizon.
Yeah, it's been a tough year for me. So hopefully I've saved my best bit of form for the biggest one of the year. So I'm looking forward to it. Surprisingly, I'm more confident than my form would suggest.
Look, you said it's been a tough year, and we saw the news that you put on social that your sister is now free. How much of a worry and a burden has that been this year? Yeah,
it's difficult because obviously you don't want to put things into sort of the mainstream. You don't want to look for excuses, but I'd be lying if I said it hasn't been on my mind. My other sister's actually been unwell as well, so there's more to life than darts, but that doesn't stop me wanting to win and wanting to play well. So I've had little spells over the course of the year playing okay, but the majority of it's been, it's not where my standards are. And I think this is the first year in a long time where I've not progressed sort of every year, whether it be rankings wise, titles wise. I seem to have sort of progressed each year, and I think this is the first year that I've started to slip down the rankings. But I've 100% believe in my ability, and I'm as good as anyone on my day. It's just the days used to come a lot more frequent as before. Beforehand, so there's only me that can put it right. So if I put the work in, I'm confident that I can. Yeah,
you said about obviously you didn't want to put in the mainstream, which I completely agree because family's family. But when you are losing, you get a load of shit on social media, and people don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Is that tough sometimes?
Yeah, it is sometimes. Yeah, but every player's going through something. It might be minor, it might be serious. But yeah, it's like I say, it's a worry. Obviously my sister's relatively young; she's 26. So to have something like that at such a young age, it is a worry. And obviously, having lost my mum a similar way as well, so it's obviously on everyone's mind in the family. I think a lot of the family have been affected by it, but not everyone plays on TV every week. So it's a lot more difficult that way. But hopefully 2025 can bring some better news. So we've already had some at the end of this year, so hopefully next year it can continue.
Yeah, look, plenty going on, but you've obviously missed tournaments this year as well, where you've not qualified them, whatever. Is that a tough one to take, or is it really 2024 you kind of written off and resetting for 25?
Yeah, or the Grand Slam.
Yeah, the
Grand Slam. Yeah, ironically, in the qualifiers, that was some of the best darts I've played. But no, do you know what? Obviously, I would have loved to be in the Grand Slam, especially considering I was defending, I think, quarters. Yeah. But I enjoyed the time off, honestly. I think financially wise, it would have been better to be in the Grand Slam, but I think mentally wise, I think the break was just as helpful as being in it would have been.
Yeah, you're one of these that says that sometimes it's not about practicing for you, it is just about going and clearing your mind. And we've seen you do it before, where you've taken a break and missed stuff, and you've come back better from it.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing again. I don't think hardly any people know, but I'm doing Kilimanjaro in January. So I'm away for I think 10 days, 8 days actually on the hill itself, and I'm looking forward to having no phone, no sort of, just sort of disconnects from everything. And I think I'm hoping it'll set me up for a good season. And I think it's something beneficial. It can be something as minor as just coming off Instagram or edit socials for a couple of weeks, but do you know what I mean? The temptation's always still there. When on there's no temptation. It's just back to basics sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to it.
Look, the world's you got a tough draw potentially. Obviously, we know everyone's looking at you versus Wessel, but does that almost focus your mind knowing that you've got a really tough first round?
I was speaking to Webby about it, and there's a couple of draws in there. You think, that'd be a favourable draw. Wessel's played amazing darts this year, but I'm quite happy with the draw. I think maybe the way this year's gone, maybe elements of complacency might have crept in if it had been, a favourable draw, if you like, not an easy draw. But Vessel's playing great, so I know that I need to play well, otherwise I'll be going home. So I think in that aspect, it's a good draw. Yeah, look, you touched on sliding down the rankings or whatever. Does it hurt when you drop out the top 16? Obviously, things like Euro tours and that aren't guaranteed and stuff like that. It's almost like you say, a complete rebuild for Joe Cullen. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but. Do you know what? I look around the room, at the Pro Tours and stuff, and I'm as good as anyone in there, like I said, on my day. But it's just, before those days used to come a lot more regular. So I think a lot of it definitely is down to consistency, which it is for every player. But I believe in my ability. I don't think there's many people in the world that are that much better than me. But this year suggests.
Yeah.
They are, and you know, I think I'm where I deserve to be considering the year I had.
The Masters, obviously, it's a tournament that you've won, and we've seen the rebrand going to the Winmore World Masters. The old format is coming back. What's your thoughts on the Masters rebrand?
Yeah, I've obviously not looked into it to see what the actual format is. I know, I think it's set play,
best of three legs to a set, yeah.
But you know, it's great. You know, obviously, I'm going to say it because I'm with Winmore, but you know, the products and everything are good. So you know, to get them on board for a big tournament, and obviously with it being ranked this year as well, next year, sorry. Yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, it hosts come from. It has, you know, many good memories for me. Obviously, that's where, you know, my career like took off, if you like.
The Worlds as well next year, going to 128. Barry, let the world know. What's your thoughts on the expansion of the Worlds? Is it a good thing, or is it going to dilute it? Because is the quality there to sustain 128 players?
I think a bit of both, to be honest. I think it would lose I think it would lose a bit of sort of prestige that there's that many players in it. You know, it used to be, you know, a big thing when I first started. It was 64, 32 seasons, 32 after that. I understand, you know, wanting to expand, and I think a lot of it will depend what the format's going to be and the way that they work the draw. But yeah, I think may lose a bit of its prestige, but it's rare that the PDC get anything wrong, so you know, we'll see what they do with it.
It's been a mad year. Everyone's calling it the Luke Littler effect. Obviously, it blew up at the Worlds last year. What's it been like on the ground? Obviously, because we don't get to go to Pro Tours and whatever and stuff like that. Is the Littler effect a thing within the players, or is it just the media that are hyping it? Do you feel?
Yeah, again, probably a bit of both. You know, the amount of times like you do exhibitions and you know. Say a year ago, 2 years ago, you know, the questions are similar. What people ask to say, oh, who's the biggest nightmare on this scene? Who's this? Who's that? What's he like? Literally, all people ask now is, what's Luke Littler like? Everyone asks that. Yeah, he's been great for the game. He's been a breath of fresh air. He's an unbelievable player. So, you know, I think we've all piggybacked off the back of that, and obviously the PDC have used him to their advantage as well. You know, with the exposure that they give him, and in a way he gives them as well. So, you know, yeah, it's been brilliant for the game. It's
been mad because he has really come in and upset the norm, shall we say, that the way he's gone about it. And there's big names that are going, hang on a minute, I want a piece of this, and maybe feel a bit neglected because then the limelight's not on them.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, there's certain players where they would look at, you know, if they play the best game, they win. You know, probably myself included. You know, within yourself. But I think there's players coming through now, like obviously Luke Littler, but obviously Luke as well, Luke Humphries. And I think that a lot of players are getting maybe a little bit upset because sometimes the best might not be good enough. You know, again, I'm including myself in that because just the standards that, you know, those two are setting is, it's off the charts.
But you say the standards they're setting. We've seen this over the years that Taylor set the bar, Michael got to him, Michael set the bar, Luke got to Michael, and now obviously you've got Luke and Luke. So it can only be good for the sport when the bar 100%. Keeps getting raised. Yeah,
100%. I think there's a lot of players that are, I don't know, blind to it. They're jealousy, and I'm like, well, everybody's talking about darts because of Luke Littler. You know, obviously I know Luke Humphries won the Worlds, and you know he's just up there. It is them two. They're the two to beat, and you know I think people like Michael Van Gerwen, people like that. You know, they're looking at them, and you know he's not happy with it. You know what I mean? It used to be Michael Van Gerwen then everyone else, and it's not that now. It's the two Lukes then everyone else. But yeah, it's up to us. That they've set the bar between themselves, so it's up to everyone else to catch up.
Looking ahead, just quickly to next year before I let you go, have you set yourselves any mini targets ahead of next year as part of this rebuild?
If I'm honest, I've not really thought about it. I'm hoping, again, I mentioned doing Kilimanjaro. I'm hoping, you know, to sort of have some without the prospect of sounding like some, you know, reality TV star who talks shite. You know, I'm actually looking to sort of get back to myself a little bit, you know, and sort of not find myself. I hate shit sayings like that, but it's along those lines. But yeah, like I said, this is the first year in probably 5-6 years that I've digressed a little bit. But the game's still there. I know it is, and it's been there at times. But it's just doing it on a regular basis. So, you know, I think maybe dropping out the top 16 and, you know, having to qualify for a few more things, it might just be the kick up the arse that I needed, because I think maybe subconsciously the elements of complacency have crept in, and it's like I said, it's not where I want to be. the standards I set for myself. People can look and say, oh well, you know, he deserves to be this. I'm not bothered. The standards I set for myself, I'm not meeting them, nowhere near meeting them. So, you know, it's on me to put it right.
That Euro Tour record is obviously there, isn't it? And that's
yeah,
the
I
one
didn't actually realise until you just said that.
Yeah, that long record. So again, I'm guessing those qualifiers mean a lot now.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not used to, I can't remember the last time I played in a qualifier. I think it was, well, obviously, for that many consecutive.
That's a long time ago.
It's a long time ago, but I'm in the position I am. Like I say, there's only me that can do anything about it. You know, I'm trying different things away from darts, looking at maybe different angles, you know, to improve my game. I think sort of we're at the standard now where you're not going to improve by 10-20%. It's not possible when you've been playing this long. So it's finding them little extra, you know, 1, 2s, maybe even 3%, and like I say, catching up to, you know, I think I've left a lot of ground now. I didn't think I was too far away a couple of years ago, you know, from getting into that elite. But you know, I've not to blame it myself. You know, I can look at things away from darts and, you know, point the finger at them. But ultimately, the book lies with me. So you know, there's me that can put it right, and you know, I'll be doing everything I can to do that.
Joe, pleasure as always, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers, lad. Thanks, lad.
One.